Cool. So here we go again. This is topical at the moment because it's end of August and it's that time when instructors go to try and drive up numbers in the schools. And this is on how to choose a martial arts school and things that I think will help you and things that you can look out for. So let's have a go and get into choosing a martial arts school. So first and foremost, this is not meant to start a flame war of, this style is better than that style is better than this. If you don't have that, you're not this, and blah, blah, blah. These are just things that we do in Taekwondo, and specifically in the Irish Taekwondo Association, that are required for us, and things that we think make martial arts schools better, or that, gives the end customer value for what they're signing up to, and lets them know that the service they're getting is as described and is not some sort of make-believe system that it has no kind of credibility, right? So a couple of topics on it, and the first point, right? So there's kind of 6 or 7 ideas I have around this. So the first one is kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised, right? Is the person or the school you're going to actually who they say they are? It's strange, right? There should be no ifs, ands, or buts around this. You should be able to trace the style or the martial art to some international body or some governing body or whatever. In Taekwondo, we are part of the International Taekwondo Federation. There's other types of Taekwondo, WT, and there's different types of ITF, but the International Taekwondo Federation, governed under President at the moment is Grandmaster Weiler. And that's our international governing body. They're the ones that have a democratically elected board of directors and so on and so forth. And there's a governing body. There's a straight line to an international recognized body, and they can vouch for the existence of national governing bodies. So that's kind of the second point, right? Is there a national governing body for your martial art? In Ireland, in Taekwondo, we're part of the IRI. My club, especially specifically, is part of the Irish Taekwondo Association, so the ITA. There's other associations in Ireland as well for Taekwondo. But again, this one is affiliated back to the Irish, to the International Taekwondo Federation. So, if you have any doubts, you can find out. You can go to the taekwondo.ie. You can find a contact there. You can say, is this club part of your system? And they'll say yes or no, or maybe they're part of a different system, and they can trace it all the way back to an international. So there's pedigree there. There's a line of accountability as such. It's not like I just went to Amazon, bought a uniform, bought a black belt, took out some ads, and sort of said, I'll teach you how to fight. That's and there's people that do that, but that's not us, right? So we have a line of accountability there. That there's a whole process. There's a whole oversight system in place, right? So that's kind of point 1 and 2 about national and international governing bodies and accountability there. And but part of that membership, right, for us to be a part of that association means there's certain things that, again, only speaking from my own experience, I don't know about other systems, but to be a member of the ITA, there's certain things that you have to do as an instructor, as a martial arts instructor. Namely, you have to be a recognized ITF black belt, first of all, to open a school or to be an instructor. There are all sorts of qualifications and hoops you have to jump through, and I think these really add value to customers at the end. When you can go to somebody and say, we have X, Y, and Z, and I'll go through what X, Y, and Z is in a minute, I think it really pays dividends. So, I mean, when students come to my club, I always, or new students or parents with bringing their children or whatever it might be, I always sit them down and walk them through what we do and what we are, and this is kind of this story as well. So, I mean, one of the next kind of thing is, is there any kind of government recognition? Is there a governing body there that's like an actual national body there that's oversights? And again, in Ireland, there's the Irish Martial Arts Commission, IMAC. They are the Irish Sports Council appointed national governing body for martial arts in Ireland, right? So to be a member of that, it means that there's levels of accountability from a government oversight point of view, right? So again, some of these requirements these set down, things that are put into legislation, in law in Ireland especially, that, people working with young people especially, but in general with sports, that with people in sport, that there's things they have to follow, there's things that are recommended. And so by being a member of IMAC, kind of through proxy of TAB, which I'm not going to go into, you have this kind of confidence that the instructors are, and the school is at a standard that is legislatively correct, right, or is as compliant as can be, right? And so some of the things that we require or that the ITA and so on require their students, or they're not their students, sorry, their instructors and their schools to have. So our all black belt instructors are required to be a recognized black belt. B, they have to have gone through the Introduction to Coaching, which is again an IMAC facilitated and a TAB facilitated coaching workshop. An actual principal instructor or chief instructor has to have the level 1. Level 1 in martial arts. This is Taekwondo specific level 1 in martial arts coaching. Again, awarded by IMAC, the Sports Council, all of the legislative things that go through that. And this is the highest ranked level that's generally available to martial arts instructors in Ireland at the moment, or at least Taekwondo instructors. I don't know about other styles. I'm not gonna tar all with the same brush. But in Taekwondo, if you're part of IMAC and you want to be an instructor, and you have to have your level 1, or one instructor has to have a level 1 at least. And there will be level 2 and level 3 brought on in the future, but at the moment level 1 is the one to have, and both of our instructors have that now in Carrick. And that's Taekwondo specific. It's related to it's not a general coaching course. It's not like you just went away for a weekend and did how to coach. It's how to coach Taekwondo, and it's done across 2 weekends with really top tutors. But that's a different conversation. So they're the kind of basic qualifications you have to have. You have to have your black belt. You have to have your recognized black belt. You have to have your level 1. But there's other things as well, right? So I mean, your instructor or your club should have insurance, right? You'd be surprised. Like, there's some guys traveling out there and they're not insured, and something will happen someday, and then there'll be a huge claim, and it'll be chaos for everyone. So they should be able to prove insurance. Minimum they should have is public liability. Most will have, professional indemnity and maybe personal accident as well. That's a given. If they can't produce an insurance certificate, you kind of have to ask why. In our, again, as part of the ITA and stuff like that, all instructors have to have first aid, up-to-date first aid. So we have all of our black belt instructors, and some of the people that assist us in class have all done first aid, and it's first aid with CPR and AED. That's first aid. One of the things that we are required to do as well as black belt instructors is we have to be Garda vetted. So when you're working with children, especially, we can stand over the instructors and say, yeah, we know they're above board, because we've run them through the National Garda vetting system. So all of our black belt instructors, and in fact in our club, all of our senior adults are Garda vetted, because we run a teenagers and adults class. So we have all of our seniors black belt. Anyone over 16 is Garda vetted in our club, because there's that crossover, right? And if you can provide access to children or anyone under the age of 18, you should have that person vetted, is the guideline from IMAC. So that's what we do. So again, this is the sort of stuff that we look at. I mean, there's whole other things, like, I mean, we have a children's officer, a designated children's officer. Miss O'Connor is the children's officer for Carrick. She sits there, and she will be the point of contact, or the voice of the child for anybody who wants to, and they can come to her specifically outside of the. It doesn't have to be a formal channel, and her information is displayed on the notice board in the classes every time, so people can gain access to that quickly. And these are the kind of things that we think add real value as instructors and as teachers. They hold us accountable. They require us to be at a certain standard that we I don't know. I think I can't understand why you would say, oh, these are bad things, right? Why wouldn't you want your instructors to have national qualifications, to be insured, to have first aid, to have done child protection, to be Garda vetted, all of this stuff? This is the kind of stuff that I think is in addition to having years of training and being martial artists and black belts that have coaching experience. So these are some of the things to look out for maybe when you're choosing your martial arts school, because this is something parents or cousins or work colleagues that don't live near me, that, well, I'm trying to put him in a sort, or I want to put her in something, and I don't know, and there's a guy down the road, and what should I be looking out for? Stuff like this is things for me. Are they part of IMAC? Have they got, can they prove that they're insured? Can they prove they are who they say they are? Are they teaching a well-known martial art, or if it's something obscure, is it actually real? These kind of things, but for sure, for me, qualifications, national governing body, international governing body, and then the sort of the must-haves, the insurance, first aid. If they're working with children, they have to have done child protection and be Garda vetted. And that's kind of, I think that's legislation now as well, right? So there's anyone working with young people have to be Garda vetted, and there's sort of serious penalties for not doing that, you know. So this is sort of stuff. Again, this is only some of the stuff that I've come across through my membership of the Irish Taekwondo Association, and by proxy then to IMAC. I think they're good things to have. Why wouldn't you want accountability? Why wouldn't you want this? You know. So some of the things to think about: how to choose a martial arts school, how to choose a school that, you know, how to vet a school really when you is what this is, rather than how to choose a style or a system. You know, pick the style or system you want to choose, and then ask these questions, dig down into them a little bit further, and see if they satisfy you or not. You know. So yeah, that's my kind of take on that. Let me know what you think. I think it's quite topical now. It's because of the time of year. Let me know what you think of all of this. If you agree with it, if you disagree with it, if you think there's stuff missing off that, or you think it's overkill or underkill or whatever have you, right? And if you like it and all, give us a like, give us a share, and all subscribe and all of that, and we'll keep going. And yeah, hopefully you're getting value out of these, and we'll see you at the next one. Cool. Thanks very much.